It sort of rehashed old revelations with a new twist. As it turns out, we've apparently been wrong all along. Britain is a nasty, racist hellhole where only magnificent Meghan stood up to all this, and the world's biggest victim.
Prince Harry went into court confidently. He's been preparing for years and was ready for a fight.
Nobody saw this coming, or did they? The moment whispers started swirling that Prince Harry had quietly dropped a bombshell about walking away from his marriage, the internet didn't just react, it combusted. Group chats exploded. News alerts went wild. Royal watchers clutched their pearls like the monarchy itself had just cracked down the middle. And at the center of it all, a love story once sold as a modern fairy tale, now being dissected like the final scene of a royal tragedy. According to the circulating reports and viral chatter, Harry's supposed words about divorcing Meghan Markle sent shockwaves from London to Los Angeles, let's be real. This isn't just celebrity breakup gossip. This is royal-level emotional chaos. Because Harry and Meghan were never just a couple. They were a symbol, a rebellion, a statement, a prince choosing love over protocol, an American actress stepping into a 1,000-year-old institution and daring to breathe differently. People didn't just watch their wedding, they invested in it. They defended it at dinner tables, they argued about it online, they picked sides like it was a global sport. So when rumors of a split hit the timeline, it felt less like news and more like betrayal to the fantasy everyone bought into. Behind palace gates and California mansions, insiders have long whispered that the pressure cooker life they built wasn't exactly a rom-com. Cameras never blinked. Critics never slept. Every outfit, every glance, every sentence became a headline. And while they often showed a united front, smiling through flashing bulbs, those smiles may have been carrying the weight of two very different worlds colliding. Harry, born into duty, tradition stitched into his Dina. Meghan, built from independence, Hollywood hustle, and a voice she was never willing to mute. Sparks that once looked like passion might have slowly started to look like friction. Remember when they stepped back from royal duties? That wasn't just a career move, that was an escape plan in plain sight. They traded palace quarters for Montecito sunshine, royal protocol for podcast deals, balcony waves for streaming contracts. On the surface, it screamed freedom, but freedom comes with bills, expectations, and a brand to maintain. Power couple status is glamorous, sure, but it's also a business. And businesses get strained when the spotlight starts feeling more like an interrogation lamp than a glow. Then there's the emotional side nobody posts about. Harry has spoken before about trauma, about protecting his family from the kind of media storm that haunted his childhood. Meghan has opened up about feeling isolated, targeted, misunderstood. Two people carrying that level of emotional history while trying to build a marriage under a microscope? That's not just hard, that's explosive. Love can be strong, but constant global scrutiny is stronger than most fairy tales. What makes this alleged split hit differently in the UK is simple. Harry isn't just famous there. He's familiar. People watched him grow up, watched him grieve, watched him serve in the military, watched him stumble, laugh, rebel. He's the prince who walked behind his mother's coffin. The cheeky spare, the soldier, the son. So when talk of divorce enters the picture, it doesn't feel like gossip about strangers. It feels personal, like a chapter closing in a story the public helped narrate. And Meghan? She was the plot twist the monarchy didn't see coming. To some, she represented progress, to others, disruption. But nobody ignored her. She walked into the royal family and instantly became one of the most talked about women on earth. Every move was politicized, every silence interpreted, every decision debated. So now, her quietness amid these divorce rumors is speaking louder than any statement ever could. No dramatic denial, no emotional interview, just silence. And in a world addicted to instant reactions, that kind of quiet drives speculation absolutely wild. Some say the silence is strategy, others say it's shock, maybe it's protection, maybe lawyers are talking while the world is shouting. Or maybe, just maybe, this is two people trying to untangle something deeply personal while millions of strangers demand front row seats. Because here's the uncomfortable truth under all the glitter and gossip. If this split is real, there are kids involved, real feelings, real consequences. And no palace press office can spin that into a happy ending. Inside royal circles, reactions are rumored to be carefully controlled, faces calm in public while phones buzz non-stop in private rooms. King Charles III is said to be balancing crown and fatherhood, aware that every family tremor becomes constitutional gossip. Prince William, the brother once inseparable from Harry, is reportedly watching from a complicated emotional distance, history, hurt, and duty all tangled together. No dramatic public statements, no emotional balcony scenes. Just the royal specialty, composed silence while the storm rages outside the gates. And hovering over everything are the children, Archie Mountbatten Windsor and Lilibet Diana Mountbatten Windsor, blissfully young, yet born into a storyline bigger than most adults could handle. Custody, countries, security, schooling, every normal parenting decision gets magnified when your last name is Windsor and your parents trend worldwide. But here's what really keeps people glued to this saga. It forces a question nobody in the monarchy PR machine wants to answer. Can a royal fairy tale survive the modern world? Or does love buckle when tradition, trauma, fame, and freedom all pull in opposite directions? Because if Harry and Meghan, the couple who left the palace for love, who built a brand on unity, who told the world they chose each other over everything, if even they couldn't make it work, then maybe the real story isn't about divorce. Maybe it's about the impossible weight placed on two humans just trying to breathe under a crown-shaped shadow. And trust me, this is only the beginning of the unraveling. The palace may keep its curtains drawn, but the drama is leaking through the walls anyway. Because once the word divorce enters a royal love story, everything, and I mean everything, gets re-examined like clues in a mystery nobody realized they were watching unfold in real time. Suddenly, old interviews don't sound sweet anymore, they sound strained. That body language at events? Replayed, zoomed in, slowed down. That brief moment Meghan looked away while Harry was talking? Now it's evidence. That time Harry went solo to an event? Distance. The internet has turned into a full-time detective agency, and every smile from the past 5 years is now under emotional forensics. But beneath the speculation circus, there's a more uncomfortable layer to this story: identity. Because Harry didn't just marry Meghan. He built a new life around her. He walked away from royal duties, from military titles, from the physical country he grew up in. He crossed an ocean, rewrote his role, and publicly declared that protecting his wife and children was more important than protecting the institution that raised him. That is not a small shift. That is a man burning bridges in broad daylight. So if this marriage really is ending, people aren't just wondering about heartbreak. They're wondering about direction. Where does Harry go now? Back toward the royal orbit he distanced himself from? Or deeper into private life, away from both Hollywood deals and palace drama? Because divorce doesn't just split a couple, it splits a shared future. And Harry's future has been tied to Harry and Meghan as a unit brand for years now. And Meghan? She's not just facing the end of a relationship, she's facing the end of a global narrative that defined an era of her life. She entered the royal family as an outsider, endured relentless scrutiny, then left with her husband to build independence on her own terms. That arc was powerful, defiant, cinematic, but a separation rewrites that storyline in a way nobody predicted. Now the world is watching to see whether she steps forward with a bold reinvention or retreats into fierce privacy. Either move would make headlines for months. What makes this situation even more explosive is the business side of their lives. Let's not pretend love and branding haven't been intertwined here. Joint deals, joint appearances, joint statements, joint philanthropic ventures. Their partnership wasn't only emotional, it was operational. A split means contracts get complicated, projects get questioned, future collaborations get uncertain. Hollywood may love a comeback story, but it also loves stability. And right now, stability is not the word floating around this couple. Meanwhile, back in Britain, emotions are running in completely different directions at once. Some people feel heartbreak, like watching the final scene of a relationship they rooted for. Others feel vindicated, claiming they always knew it wouldn't last. And then there's a large group just stunned, watching history twist in real time. Because whether people supported them or criticized them, Harry and Meghan represented change. A modern monarchy experiment. And if that experiment ends in divorce, critics will call it proof the system was never meant to bend that far. Inside the royal institution, this situation is delicate beyond belief. Publicly, they will stay neutral, calm, dignified. Privately, you can bet emotions are layered and complicated. There's concern for Harry as his son and brother. There's awareness that every development becomes global spectacle. And there's likely a quiet calculation about how, or if, this changes Harry's long-term relationship with the royal structure he stepped away from. Divorce has a strange way of reopening doors people once slammed shut. And through all of this noise, two children sit at the center of a storm they didn't choose. Their lives will be shaped by decisions made in boardrooms, legal offices, and very private conversations behind very guarded gates. Different homes, different routines, possibly different countries. Their parents may be public figures, but their childhood is real, tender, and fragile. That's the part of the story that turns gossip into gravity. Still, the public can't look away, because this isn't just about love falling apart, it's about a dream unraveling. The wedding felt like a cultural moment. The departure from royal life felt like a revolution. And now this rumored split feels like the emotional aftershock nobody prepared for. It forces people to confront a hard truth. Fairy tales don't collapse quietly, they fall with headlines. And maybe the most haunting part? We still don't know the full story. We're watching shadows on the wall, not the actual conversation happening behind closed doors. Was this sudden or a slow drift? Was it mutual or one heart stepping away first? Is this truly the end or just another chapter in a relationship that's been tested by forces most couples never face? What we do know is this. The world built a narrative around Harry and Meghan that was bigger than either of them as individuals. And now that narrative is cracking, piece by piece, in front of a global audience that feels oddly invested, strangely emotional, and completely unable to stop watching. Because when a prince who gave up a kingdom for love might be losing that love too, that's not just gossip. That's a modern royal tragedy still unfolding in real time. Unfolding in real time. Unfolding in real time.